Reach out, oh, with Ray and Steve. Reach out, with Ray and Steve. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the car. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. Play ball.
Hi, everybody. As the great Vin Scully would say, hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. And welcome to Reach Out with Ray and Steve. We have an absolutely amazing show for you tonight. So please welcome our co-hosts, Ray and Steve.
All right, Roberto.
Nice
Hey,
job,
guys.
Robbie.
Number one, Robbie, I take offense to the fact that you say we have every show is an amazing show, okay? But, I'm sort of, I'm catching your act because like every week you're putting more and more, Valley kind of, Jersey boyish kind of situation here. What are you doing?
We have an extra special tonight because we do have a Valley on the show tonight.
Oh, yes, we do. And Olivia Valley is
you
gonna
got,
join us.
who you got? Who you got?
We've got Frankie Valli's granddaughter tonight,
Whoa.
Olivia Valley, who one day they're going to say to Frankie, "Oh, you're Olivia's grandfather, huh?"
I think they're saying that already. Huh?
That's unbelievable. That's going to be an exciting show that we got here. But, Robbie, no Dodger Blue today.
I know. You know what? I thought maybe it was time to. Now I'm going to celebrate all the way until next October because officially the Dodgers are world champions until they get dethroned in next year's World Series. But they're going to be World Series champions next year again against the Yankees.
Are you pulling like a Donald Trump type of thing?
It's not even Thanksgiving yet. You're already predicting the Dodgers win next year. Oh,
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not giving up the Dodgers.
Oh, boy. It was an amazing show. It was. Now it just went downhill there.
Thanks.
But you know what? We're going to keep the Dodger theme a little bit because we have Tommy Lasorda is very ill in a Los Angeles hospital. And there's you with Tommy.
Here we go.
But
You know what? It's very sad, in Dodger Town because Tommy is in the hospital right now. We're all praying. We can use prayers to help Tommy get through this. Tommy is 93 years young, one of my heroes, and he's great friends with Frankie Valli too, by the way. Olivia's two brothers had a chance. He went to their school and talked at their school for Frankie.
Wow, that's very cool. Listen, I mean, when you got as many hits as Frankie Valli, I mean, the president's going to go and talk to the school, okay? You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the man,
That's right.
He's the man. As Tony Orlando says, he's the new chairman of the board, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes,
There's no
he is.
question
Yes,
about
he
it.
is. But we're going to bypass some things because we do a lot of community work. We do a lot of community work. And we have John Thiessen, who's going to be on the show momentarily. But we have done work with Long Island Cares for the last several months during the pandemic. I've been working with them for the last several years. And we have a little promo video that we want to show you. This is our community segment of Reach Out with Ray and Steve.
I came to New York running away from the situation and, not really having a lot. And they have a lot of pantries all over Long Island. So I've been to a few of their pantries and I'm a veteran as well. My kids, I'm kind of a strict parent, so kids ask for a lot of things, so I'm very honest with my children, and I let them know right now, mommy's not doing so great, because at one point I was doing really well. So when things start to like fall apart, I let them know, okay, mommy can't sit here and buy you everything that you want right now. Mommy's struggling a little bit, and then I'll let them know mommy has to go out to the pantry to get some food. And then when I got the job, they was like, oh, mommy, you got a job, yay! Like we kind of went out to celebrate. They were so excited. You go in and they're very welcoming. They can tell that you're nervous. They can tell that it's your first time. They can tell that you don't really want to take everything. They're like, we have plenty of it, go ahead. You don't want to go and ask for help. You don't want to say, okay, well, I need this, because you don't want people to look down on you. And to be able to go, get the help, and then them saying, come back, don't worry about it. We have more. We'll get more on this day. If you come back every day, every week on this day, we'll have something here for you. Don't even worry about it. That's nice and reassuring, because it's not, why do you need this? Everyone cares. They genuinely cares. Like the title Long Island Cares, like they really care. They see you having a bad day, they'll ask, are you okay? They won't pry because they don't want to, be pushy, but they'll ask, are you okay? Is everything all right? Do you need anything? And it's not about whether you need something at work. They care about your personal life too. Like, everything okay at home? If you ever need anybody to talk to, we're here. I'd like to thank Long Island Cares for helping me and my family and getting us on our feet in an expedited time, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be okay right now. We'd probably still be struggling, going back and forth to all these different food pantries, trying to get food and figure out what's gonna be the next move. And I appreciate everything that they've done. Myself and my children are very grateful for everything they've done.
Wow, it's Long Island Cares. They've been doing such great work since Harry Chapin, the great singer-songwriter from the 70s. He was giving out free food to his fans. Back then, unfortunately, he passed away in a car accident on the Long Island Expressway in 1983. And we've been helping them during this pandemic, and we have boxes that are giving out to families.
Every Saturday morning,
Yep.
we are in Valley Stream. And
Which is Long Island.
which is part of it's Long Island, Queens, right there. And you know what? People go hungry in Long Island too. They think that, it's Long Island, so it's rich and this and that. No, brother, no, sister. People are hungry everywhere in New York City. And our volunteers over here, Heather and them, they do incredible. And they get the spaghettis. This is a box over here that'll last a week. The tuna fish. And, this is, it's no joke. People are hungry. And the box, I'm proud of the fact that, they're doing the right thing.
Right.
Okay. It's not no, junky food. I was going to say Essie food, but it's no junky
Well,
food.
the box of food lasts a week, and people are lined up still during this. The unemployment rate's the highest in the nation it's ever been. And we're still struggling here in the tri-state area. So Long Island Cares has stepped up, just like another gentleman, John Thiessen, has stepped up during this holiday time, but year-round. And he has an unbelievable organization called John Thiessen Children's Foundation. We're going to show a little promo video and bring John on the set live here in studio. Let's check it out.
Thank you for all of your donations and hard work. We are so proud to be a part of John Thiessen and the work that he does for our community, for our members, and for the children of our members.
Hey guys, I want to thank you so much, Local 338, for all your support, helping us stuff backpacks for our 19th annual back to school program. We have over 1,500 backpacks that we have to fill. Today's been incredible. Your members and staff had a great time hand delivering toys to the local hospitals that many of you guys have donated. Working with the union, Local 338, has been awesome for over 26 years now. Without John Durso, his staff, and all the members, my foundation wouldn't be half as good as it is.
On behalf of all of us at 338, thank you to you, our members, and to your families for your your hard work and your dedication and your support of the work that we do, not only for our members, but for the communities in which we live. Thank you.
John Thiessen, let me tell you, last year I was in a situation, okay? I had, 300 kids in the Bronx?
Yeah.
400 kids in the Bronx. They didn't have Christmas. And when they called me, I couldn't say no, okay? I couldn't say no. And I was struggling, am I right?
Yeah, you were
And
struggling.
I called John and I said, John, can you help me? And what you do?
Of course, 100%. 100%. I love you, man. I love the kids. I love the kids that, that need. We have to be there for each other. That's what life is all about. That's what I learned a long time ago, and that's what you got to do.
He got me almost $50,000 in toys. And I will never forget this one lady. And if I break down, forgive me. But she said she was hoping to get 2 toys for her 2 kids for Christmas. And John hooked it up so that the kids had a regular Christmas. And that they had to help me and that lady out of the place because we were crying so much. You remember that?
Of course, absolutely. 100%.
See?
What makes you give the drive that you have to help others and give back?
So for 29 years now, we're a year-round organization. And when I was 17, I had a brain tumor. And back in 1980s, there weren't kids like with cancer like there are now. And I remember, walking out of the 4th floor, and I was supposed to be on the surgical floor, and there wasn't room there because I was having brain surgery. So they actually put me on the oncology floor. And I walked out and I saw all these kids with cancer, and I had to spend a week there on that floor. And just seeing these kids, and I met some special girl who had really no family support there, and I left there, and I said I'll be back to help out kids like that. I told my mom, and things just took off from there. And I still listen. I've had 17 surgeries on different parts of my bodies. I'm still on 10 meds, but I survived. I had surgery and I had radiation, but I had a nice tumor. I didn't, mine could have went the other way. I mean, you hear these brain tumors, they went bad, and I was nice enough to know that I had nice tumor cells and not the bad ones that these kids get, and they die so young. So it's my mission. I wake up every day and think of different ways we could help out the kids. And that's what we do with the foundation.
Yeah, it's amazing work that you do. And the gala that you have each and every year raises so much money and donation for so many kids and families in need. This year is a little challenging because of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, normally our events that we run throughout the year, 12 major fundraising events, net us about $700,000, and we've raised 12,000 through those events. That's it. Everything's canceled. Even in December, my gala that always has 1,000 people, if I'm okay, we can't have that. Can't do anything. And it doesn't stop the families. Like you see from the other video, the families are in dire need more than ever.
Right.
I mean, especially if their kids are sick. Some of these families that I help out, they have 6, 7 kids, and 3 of them might have sickle cell, or it's kind of strange. I mean, people don't realize it. I've helped out families where both the kids, the 12-year-old and the 9-year-old, have cancer, and they live in a little studio apartment and they have nothing. And I've offered them video games and TVs because when they're in the hospital, it's what they love to do. And then I could hear them say, I just want a winter coat. I mean,
Do me a favor, bring Orestes Estrada on. Where's Orestes? Orestes is from the Tampa Bay Rays. He played for the Florida Marlins. He played in Japan. He played with the New York Yankees. And most importantly, I don't care about promoting the Yankees or anybody. I'm here to promote a guy who, like John Thiessen, this guy, he does radio and television for the Tampa Bay Rays. Right. But more importantly, I run into him at more hospitals. I run into him at more places where there are children than anybody else. And that's not supposed to be his regular job. Orestes, say hello to John.
hello.
Hey, John, and your show, first of all, congratulations, Ray. I've known you a long time. And then this is as many great projects that you've been involved with on the air and the community. This has to be something very special to you because I can feel, the passion, and I can feel the outreach that you're getting out there and explaining what is going on, community minded, what's going on. The Yankees are involved, and what's going on, guys like John is doing. So, congrats on that, brother.
Thank
You
you,
know how
bro.
much I love you, and congrats to John for what you've done and what you've battled. Because, listen, a lot of people just don't realize, that there's so many people in need. Obviously, we help other countries, and rightfully so, but right in our backyard. And I know that I'm involved in a lot of things here, both in the Black, Hispanic, and white communities. And I'm fortunate that I'm basically multicultural in nature and brought up that way, that I've been able to do some things.
Well, listen, Orestes, number one, it was important to have you in here today because of John. But also, I know that we have Olivia Valley on the show, and she fights for women's causes and stuff like that, and the whole scenario of what's happening during the pandemic. I follow her. I'm a big fan of Olivia's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everything that she does that way. And so, in essence, the Florida Marlins just hired the first lady general manager. Okay,
How about that?
Kim Eng. Well, you know what? But you're a Frankie Valli fan. You're a Four Seasons fan. But more importantly, you got to see this girl. I mean, Robbie, you told me about Olivia before I even met Olivia. I mean, you introduced Olivia.
Are you ready to bring her on?
Yeah, because she should be in this conversation.
First of all, I do want to reach out to Orestes and John,
Yes, sir.
and thank you to each one of you guys for what you're doing for society and the world. That's what it's all about, is giving back, helping our brothers and sisters out there. So thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
And that's, of course, one of the three aspects to the Reach Out with Ray and Steve show, and that is we have sports, entertainment, or maybe it's entertainment and sports and community, depending on your perspective, I guess. But
You're changing the whole format around, Robbie.
Typical Dodger.
one of the three things, and Reach Out, and both Ray and Steve are so active, as you mentioned, Orestes, in the community, and thank you for everything you guys do. And so, without further ado, for those who don't know me, I am Frankie Valli's music director for the last 42 years, going on 43 as we enter into 2021. And this next young lady I have known since she was literally a baby. And she is one of the most talented singers on the planet. She's amazing. She's got an amazing talent. Of course, look at the genes, of course, Frankie Valli's granddaughter. But even more so, she's got a big, big heart, and she is a great young lady and the world is her oyster. She can be as big as she wants to be. So let's have a virtual round of applause for Miss Olivia Valli.
No.
Awesome.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you fine.
John, Orestes, I think you guys are unbelievable. I think that it is so essential to give back, not just during COVID-19, not during a pandemic, but all the time, because people need help every single day of their lives. I think to be an artist, to be gifted in sports or in anything ever, it's essential to give back to the communities that exist out there in the world. And so thank you for your hard and incredible and selfless work. I think that says a lot about the wonderful men that you are. And hi, everyone else. It's so good to see you all. Robbie, that was so sweet. That made me cry. It's fine. I'm always crying. Maybe it's the pandemic. Who knows? But
well, it is difficult times during this pandemic on Broadway. As a Broadway star, you've been in Jersey Boys and Wicked. How has the pandemic affected you and your peers?
It's getting harder every day. We are all losing our health insurance at the beginning of 2021 because we have to work in order to earn health insurance. And so our union, Actors Equity, has, and I'll say it because I'm a Jersey girl. I'm going to tell everybody like it is. They've failed us. They actually increased the amount of weeks we need to work in order to gain health insurance when there's no work available. And they raised our price to 200%. a 200% increase in our price that we pay quarterly for our health insurance. And it just feels like there is truly no end in sight. And it's disheartening to watch people treat this carelessly, to watch people not care about others and forget empathy and forget real empathy, not just like, oh, I feel bad. It's okay, but what can I do to help? And it's like a very simple thing of wearing a mask. And, you know, yes, it's uncomfortable. And yes, we're all getting like acne from our masks. But, you know, I'd rather live to see 2021 and 2022 and have a couple pimples on my face than like not do that.
Right. That's right. That's right. Well, it is a very difficult time, and thank you for sharing that, because there's so many people that are struggling and may not know the in or outs of what you guys are going through. And, you know, they said Broadway is going to be closed till at least June 1st of next year, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, because that's only a tentative date. That's when things could potentially start existing again. So that means just to rehearse. That means for the producers to kick things back up again. But realistically, if things like if the vaccine does come out, great. Regardless of how we all feel about it, at least there's like there's a vaccine. At least the statement is out there. But realistically, Broadway will probably not open until late fall, because you have to get everybody back together who has moved and changed the course of their lives because they have children, they need to pay their rent, they needed to leave because New York was too expensive. And you need to get them all to rehearse again. You need to make sure that everybody is quarantining together, because you have everybody backstage as the actors, but then you have the production stage managers, the stage managers, costume, wigs, backstage men who help the props go in and out of on the stage. And then you have the entire orchestra who's blowing air into some of these instruments that will then seep into the audience and on stage. Right. So it is so more involved than people realize, because they just don't know. How would anybody know if someone's not telling them? And it's really, I think more shows will close. Unfortunately, I think that it's wonderful that shows like Hamilton and Diana are going to be on Netflix and Disney Plus. I wish that was the norm, because theater itself is too expensive to begin with, because we're all talking about community outreach here. And Broadway itself and national tours and regional theaters are looking for ways to make theater more accessible to those who do not have the funds to spend $300 on a ticket and a flight and food and a hotel and all the other stuff. That's over $6,000 if you're going with 4 people. And so it's important that Broadway becomes, and any sort of theatrical production becomes, a more equitable space financially for everybody, and equitable in general for everybody.
And
so
now, Orestes, I want you to talk with Olivia, and I want you to, in essence, let her know why you do or do not think that Kim Ng, the new woman general manager, is a good thing for sports in general, or sports and entertainment.
Well, firstly, I will say that I think, Olivia, you put it so well, because in the sports world too, I don't think people realize the dramatic impact that COVID had on the algorithms of the people that work at stadiums, work around the stadiums, that live by these games. So when all these myriad of games were canceled, it wasn't just the players that were losing the millions of dollars. It was everybody, the infrastructures around that. So this has been very painful, and hopefully there'll be opportunities now coming up in 21 where at least fans will be allowed, so then these workers can get back in there, and the ticket people. I mean, and obviously my boy Ray knows me and how I kind of walk around the Trop, and from the janitor to the president, and we have to care about everybody. Now, as far as Kim Ng, listen, this is a perfect call for a team, the Marlins. It not so much that it was long overdue, because it's just timely. But think about the history that Kim Ng has had. Back with the Yankees, which was given the opportunity at 29 years old, the youngest general manager ever hired, and a female, the first female. So the Yankees and teams like the Dodgers, who, by the way, she both worked for, were inspiring, you know, in the realm of diversity. Right after that, you know, they hired, who's still there and being an impact, and Gene Afterman, who's just been wonderful. But think about even beyond that, and I know Ray Ray's going to love this, talk about diversity. The first black GM the Yankees hired, and a mentor of mine, and Bob Watson, who won the first black, you know, GM to win a World Series in '96. So, you know, it's teams and communities and cities that should be this impactful. New York, LA, they are most diverse. I'm proud of the Marlins, my old team, and obviously Derek Jeter behind it to make this choice. She's very ready for it, and I think she's going to be wonderful. And oh, by the way, on the baseball X's and O's, oh my God, the Donnie Mattingly, and congrats to Donnie for Manager of the Year, well deserved. He's got a kid in Sixto Sanchez, Pablo Lopez, and Sandy Alcantara, who are not, you know, names that everybody knows, but that trio are going to be, you know, possibly as good as Clemens, Pettit, you know, and the like. So that's how good these guys are. So the Marlins are going to be pretty good, and Kim Ng's going to be fantastic.
I got to ask you, have you heard of the wonderful singer Sal Valentinetti?
Sal Italiano, parla Italiano, Sal Valentinetti. No, I have not.
We have a little clip. We have a little clip of Sal before he comes on.
Please.
Which one? Jersey Boys.
Here's Sal Valentinetti.
Oh, what a night. Late December back in 63. What a very special time for me. As I remember, what a night. Oh, what a night. You know, I didn't even know her name, but I was never gonna be the same. What a lady, what a night. Oh, I got a funny feeling when she walked in the room. Yeah, and as I recall it, ended much too soon. Oh, what a night.
All right, Sal Valentinetti.
Wow.
Can you guys hear me? See me? Am I
We
here?
hear you. We see you.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of everybody's Zoom room. I'm in like an empty. We just moved in, so I don't know what this is. A guest room, an office. I don't know what it is yet. But it certainly has nothing on the walls. It looks like a hospital. But
Now, have you met Olivia?
I haven't. This will be my first. Nice to meet you, Olivia, virtually.
Nice to
Wow.
meet you as
See, but
well.
Olivia's got like nice decoration on the wall. Look at this. Nothing.
Come on, Sal, get with the program. Get with the program.
World's
At
your
least on
oyster. You
Estes
can
was
make
like,
it
I'm
anything
going
you want it to
outside
be.
or something, like, you know.
Now,
Obviously,
have-
it's like a
You
beautiful
can do whatever you
studio.
want with that wall. It's wide open.
Ray and Steve and John are like the only three people in Yankee Stadium right now. That's incredible.
now, have you
Wow.
met Robbie Robinson, our musical director?
I haven't either.
Robbie,
Wow.
meet Sal Valentinetti.
Hey, nice song. That song sounds familiar. I've heard it somewhere.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
There you go, Robbie. I need Robbie's Zoom room and his dietitian because I was looking at those photos and I look like the old Robbie and the new Robbie looks a hell of a lot better than I ever will. So, God bless you, Robbie.
Sal, you done some great work during the pandemic on Long Island too. You were singing for frontliners, nurses, and doctors. You were doing the rounds. How important was that for you?
I mean, you know, Steve, like Olivia said, this has been so detrimental to the performing arts, you know, and it really is something that I love to do, singing. I love to do it. I love to perform. It's something that makes me feel whole. And to have the opportunity to do it for our frontline health workers was incredible for me. It was It was an awesome opportunity, and I met a lot of great nurses and doctors and medical assistants and staff and family members who were just kind of waiting outside the hospital for their loved ones to reemerge. I met a lot of great people doing it. And I always come back to this story because I hate to have it on me. This woman, Donna Marovic, she's the CEO of Northwell Health in Bayshore Hospital, I believe it's called South Shore Hospital, but
right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I met Donna. I was singing outside for the patients inside, and shout out to the Murrays who own Mulcahy's. John, you know them well. They're fantastic people.
Sal, you've done so much for the community. I've hosted a few events where Sal's come in and donated his time.
Are
You're
you
awesome,
kidding
Sal.
me? You're saying that? Don't make me turn this into
For the police, Sal, for the police officers, you're awesome. I was going to try and get in and say how many events that people don't know about.
Right.
I mean, I did in 6 months. He showed up at like 4 or 5 and performed. He's incredible.
Wow.
Now, Sal, the question that I'm asked every day that I'm going to ask you, are you ever afraid that you could catch the
every day? I live in Miami, so it's worse here. Right? How you doing? It's worse here than pretty much anywhere in the country right now.
Yes, it is.
My mother has kidney failure. My father has lupus, and my girlfriend's mother is borderline emphysema. So if we even want to think about visiting home for the holidays, we have to take this very, very, very seriously, and we do. I have a giant gallon-size Purell pump bottle. You remember how when you'd walk into someone's house and they'd have a decorative, like a fancy bottle of something like Louis the 13th in a box?
Yes.
I have a genuine Purell branded gallon-size pump bottle, and I keep it right in front of the front door when you walk in, as if to show people hey, we got the good stuff. But I make everybody who comes through my door, and not many people do, Purell and the mask and everything. We got to take it seriously. And like Olivia said, I take it very, very. You know what? And John, you could speak. Ray, Steve, Orestes. I don't know about you, Robbie, but I'm from the street. If I feel like you are attacking me personally, I am going to bring all that to you. All 25 years of everything I've ever had, every bully, I'm bringing it to you. So I take it very, very personally when people refuse to wear masks. I was in an AutoZone, and I could say this guy. I don't think the guy pressed charges, but then again, who knows? I was in an AutoZone, and this guy comes in, just walks right in, refuses to wear his mask. And me and my father were in there, and I'm very protective of my father, especially. Excuse me. And this guy goes to check out, and the manager behind the counter just kindly says to him, hey, I can't take your money because you're not wearing a mask. But if you go outside, she actually offered him the option. If you go outside, I'll take your money and I'll charge it and I'll give you change. And this guy got so mad, he threw his things on the ground. So I told him, my dad's a much bigger guy than me even, and he was getting ready. And I said, no, Dad, let me handle this. And I walked the man outside, and that's the nicest way I could say it. I walked the man outside, and I kindly, gently, and graciously explained to him that he's the reason why I can't go back to work. And that I'm gonna, and I took that was a few months in. I took the few months of that, of not having that outlet, not having that extension of myself to be able to perform on stage. I took that out on that man. I'm very proud of myself because everybody who watched, I'm sure, is going to wear their masks from now on. And especially down here in Florida, I'll drive. I'll drive on a nice day or something. We'll take a ride up to a different beach and look at different palm trees. And there are parts of Florida, Orestes, you can vouch, that are like Deliverance, where people don't believe in coronavirus and they refuse to wear the mask. And I am from New York, and I don't give a what's that word you use for the SH word, Ray?
Culo.
Right. That's right. I don't care. I really don't care. And I will tell you, I will tell you in any way possible to wear your mask, because that's what's stopping me from going. How silly is that? That's what's stopping me from going to work. And not just me, like Olivia explained, like Orestes explained, there's so many other moving parts when it comes to live performing or live sports that people don't see right away. And I've had many, many calls from bands across the country, guys who have guys that work for them that are career musicians that are struggling, that have been struggling. And so it's extremely difficult. So I'm taking it very, very seriously. And I really just briefly want to tell you guys about this woman, Donna Marovic. She's the CEO of this hospital. She is in charge of everything. She was a nurse practitioner, is a nurse practitioner who worked her way to the top and now is in an administrative position where she doesn't have to be a nurse practitioner. And yet the day I met her, she was in scrubs. And the reason was because 5 days a week, 5 days a week, she was making rounds in that hospital as a nurse. And when I asked her why, she said, this is such a horrible thing. This is such a horrible thing. This is such a nightmare that I would never ask anyone to do something that I wouldn't do. Now, the people who are out there complaining that the mask is difficult for them to breathe in, oftentimes are the same people who claim to be patriots, who tell people, if you don't like it here, you can go home. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you don't want to wear the mask, you can get them out of here.
Yeah.
Hey!
He censored himself. He censored himself. But
no, let me just say this, and you're 1,000% correct. And Gio Urshela, you know Gio?
Yeah. Do I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gio Urshela and Gleyber Torres. That's it. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
But Gio and Gleyber will not let me do the show unless I do this, and at the same time deliver these things into the Bronx, into the poorest areas. And I am so proud of those two kids, because one is in Colombia and the other was in Tampa, but they check on these kids every day to make sure that they're okay. I mean, it doesn't happen. Not since Babe Ruth have we had guys like that, and I'm so proud of them.
That's right. Okay? That's right. Robbie, we have another outstanding person waiting in the wings. Can you introduce him to us, please?
Yeah. Well, so Olivia and Sal were both mentioning Broadway. And this next gentleman has been a friend of mine for a long time. He's worked dozens of shows with us with Frankie Valli, and he is a Broadway musician. He was in the cast of Jersey Boys for the whole 11 years of its Broadway run, and as a great saxophone player, he used to teach music at Harvard University, and his name is Mr. Matt Hong. Come on in, Matt.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we worked all that out. So,
Matt,
nice hat, first of all. Nice hat.
Thank you. It's the only one I have. Sorry, Robbie. It's a pleasure to be on with so many wonderful people and talented people and people doing such good work. It's inspiring just to listen to you guys. It's really, really great.
So Matt, talk about your musical career a little bit, how it's evolved into what it is now. And I know the pandemic has probably been a challenge for you, but why don't you share? We have a little clip musically, but why don't you share a little bit about yourself first?
Okay, sure. Well, I moved to New York in the 90s and came here to get a degree and dive into the scene. And about 20 years ago, I started working Broadway shows, first as a sub, and then started getting regular steady work. And in 2005 I got the call to do Jersey Boys. It was like riding a rocket ship for 11 years. It was the greatest experience, and one of the things I really treasure is I got to meet Robbie, because he came and watched us in the pit early in the run. And then subsequently after that, I got the call a number of times to work with the man himself, Mr. Frankie Valli. Woo! So it was a great honor and a real pleasure.
So you've played with Frankie Valli and you've played with Jersey Boys. Compare working with Frankie, the real Jersey Boy, with Jersey Boy.
Don't do that to him, Robbie.
I remember one time. This is like, no, I'm used to being put on the spot. One time, Frankie himself backstage came up to me, and we had a couple Frankie Valli actors covering his role, and he just came up to me flat out and said, "Which one do you like better?" I was like,
Not surprised.
"There's no way I'm going to step on that one." No.
That's a softball question.
I said, you know what my answer was? I like you the best, Frankie. And that's I think that there's nothing like being with the real deal. I mean, I love the show, and the show, does things that because of the dramatics and the lighting and the staging and all the choreography and getting to do it every night, but there's nothing like the real thing, and it's been one of the blessings of my life.
I know, Matt, is I know that you like doing the Frankie Valli show with us because, guys, Matt would actually sub out his Jersey Boys gig to come out and do our show. So I know he must it for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I had 7 other shows that week I could do with them. I'd rather be with you that one night.
I hear you.
Fair.
Yeah, so it was a great run. It was a fantastic experience. All the best people we worked with, and it was great to see the actors come in over the years, different people playing different roles and adding their special thing. And we had such a great band and a great chemistry. And we just had the time of my life. It was fantastic. It was. I didn't think it was ever going to end, but eventually it did. And
It'll be back.
And then now it lives on the road. So right, Olivia, it's great to hear you talk about your experience with it. I remember the first time we met Frankie Valli in rehearsal in 2005, and the cast was completely nervous, and then it was John Lloyd Young who won a Tony. He had to give. It was a very small rehearsal room, and he was playing these incredibly emotional scenes at the end of the show, and Frankie was literally like 3 feet from him watching it, and he was having to rehearse these things. And I heard him talk about it afterward. He said he was so freaked out that he just had to do it. Like he just shut his mind off and played it. Frankie loved him. It was great. That was at the beginning before we even.
Such an incredible show. Such an amazing show. I've seen that show in many different iterations, but 6 times I've seen that show.
Yeah.
The first time it was 2006. I was 11 years old. My parents took us to like a fancy like brunch at Bar Americaine, which is Bobby Flay's restaurant over there. And then we went over to the theater. And I just remember from start to end, just like in awe. My eyes were peeled. My jaw was dropped. It's such an incredible show. I mean, it well written, well performed by all the actors, and of course the musicians in the pit make all the difference. But what an incredible show! What an incredible show!
It was
one of the things that our audience may not be aware of is the role that Olivia Valli plays in Jersey Boys is the role of Mary Delgado, who is literally Olivia's grandmother, because she was so that is such a unique thing in the history of Broadway. Has anybody ever done that? And what do you think about being playing your grandmother in the show?
It's really it was amazing. I've been auditioning for Jersey Boys for 6 years, and I was auditioning for my aunt Francine, and it just didn't work out. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I graduated college because I was auditioning when I was in college, and I booked Wicked the musical, and I went on the road and did that for 3 years, and then literally got back, did an audition, booked it, and then I ran into Mary Sugarman, who's one of the casting directors of Tara Rubin casting, but also Jersey Boys. And she was like, "It's so good to see you. Are you here for a while? Like, are you going back out on the road?" And I was like, "I'm actually here for good." And she was like, "Great, awesome. It's so good to see you. We'll keep in touch." And 3 days later, I got an audition for Jersey Boys again. And I was like, at this point, it's audition number 7. And I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. Not gonna get my hopes up. And I had my audition, and then the next day I had a 4-hour callback. So I had to do singing, dancing, and sides with coaching to then film, to then do it again. And that was the hardest 4 hours of my life, to stay so concentrated. And like Matt said, you just, like what John Lloyd said about working with my grandpa, you just turn off and you just do it. And so I literally just shut, like, the inner voice in my head being like, "Are you really tired? Can you do this?" Shut it down, and I did it. And I am the first actor in history to ever play a direct relative of somebody.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow.
I mean, it's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Olivia, I gotta ask you. Last week, our show was about grandkids, and so we had the Babe Ruth's granddaughter.
We had Johnny Cash's grandson. We had George Steinbrenner's granddaughter.
And one more. Who was the other one?
And we have
I can't even remember. Bottom line, who?
Yogi
Berra's granddaughter.
Yes.
So the bottom line is, this is a continuation, and I got to ask you what I asked them. How do you feel about the fact that you've had to share your grandfather, this incredible icon, with the world? How do you feel about that?
I love it because there are parts of him that no one will ever get to see because it's what him and I share. And I will always cherish that. But I love to watch how people are so moved by his generosity and his kindness and his talent. When I was on the road, he would perform in the same theaters I was performing in, and everybody was like, "Your grandpa's the nicest man. He bought us all dinner. He had catering. He literally asked me about my life and my family." And to hear that impact, and to hear somebody who is that big be so humble and so considerate of others because he wants to, not because he has to, because he wants to, is exactly the person I aspire to be. And so for me, I love to learn from him through example, but I also love to learn from him through my personal life. And so I'm like, share away, because he's the greatest man on the planet, and everybody who meets him is going to be the happiest person ever because he's just so kind and so loving. So I'm like, the more the merrier, please.
Now, cool. As Robbie Robinson knows, next to the family, I'm the biggest Frankie Valli fan in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've had little moments with your grandfather that I term nice, intimate moments that I cherish, like forget about it. And I remember one time I said to your grandfather, "Frankie, you know that you're my hero, right?" And he said, "Yeah, but Frank Sinatra's your bigger hero." You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was so cool of him. He's just beautiful. So you're so blessed to have a grandfather. The whole world wishes they had a grandfather like Frankie Valli. But I
wish
got
my
a brother like
grandfather was
Robbie.
Frankie Valli.
Well, we got Matt. You're an amazing musician. We have a little clip of your music. Let's take a listen to Matt Ong's music. Check it out.
Yeah, man.
Amazing job.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Dylan.
Thank you.
What's your
Thank you.
future like?
That's been a few years.
How's it?
The music business. Say that again. I didn't.
Yes, the music
got a little
business for
delay.
you, sir. How is that going to be affecting you moving forward?
Well, it's Olivia described it very well. The entire community is struggling right now. We basically on Broadway, it's as if things just stop. Even restaurants are at 25%, but the performing arts are just completely shut down indefinitely. So a lot of people are struggling. I'm in a position. My wife is a ER nurse, so she's got plenty of work, and I've managed to keep insurance through her employer. She was on the front lines of the pandemic through March and April here in New
God
York.
bless.
She's a hero.
So she
God
got
bless.
her butt kicked, and
Yeah.
she really and all of her crew they were coming home from work in tears every day.
Yeah,
It was really tough for them. So it's hard to complain about the musician's life when you put that in perspective. But at the same time, the performing arts is so important, and I worry about our community and about people that can't stay in New York. And I've been thinking a lot lately about the next generations that would be coming into the scene that can't come here because there's no place to plug in. New young actors, dancers, musicians, they're just not going to come into the field, and so we're going to lose 2 or 3 or 4 years, half a generation or so of talent, because it's just not financially viable, and it's financially difficult under the best of circumstances. So it's really tough.
It is tough. Sal, we had a conversation before the show. I know you have a new album coming up next year, but even more importantly, you said something that really hit home. What was most important to you? Not the album, but something else that you were able to bring people together?
Well, so we did a socially distanced live session with 28 pieces at East West Studios in Los Angeles, and it was the big room. There's a famous picture of Sinatra with Quincy Jones sitting on top of a piano and Count Basie in the background. And there's about 50 musicians in the room at that time. So it's the same room, just everyone spread apart. And even though there was a lot of logistics involved in getting it done, the musicians were so happy to be playing again that, we had, granted, we had some of the greatest musicians in the country, if not the world, in that room. But it was such an incredible session because of that, because we were able to bring everybody back together and do something we all love, which is play music again. And it was a heck of a lot of fun. More important than me getting back to work is these musicians, because without them, I don't have a show. Listen, I have a show, but I tell people expressly, who want to hire me for corporate stuff and want me to, swoop in a parachute and sing one song to a track. I go, I'd rather give you an hour with a band, just because it's so much more fun for me. It's so much more alive. Musicians bring life to music that a track can't. And for me, it was so important to get them back in the saddle. More important than it was to make a record. However, it's an incredible piece. I'm very, very proud of it. And we had one of the world's foremost alto sax players. This guy, Glenn Morissette, did incredible arrangements. And the guy's just a savant. He's incredible. And we had so much fun. We just had so much fun. And then, it was a couple days later, and the pianist, this guy, Gary Matsumoto, plays with Steve Tyrell. Sure. And I was like, I really want to stick something there. And do you think Gary would be? Gary showed up to my friend's house at night at 11 o'clock at night. Showed up, played for 3 hours, and at the end, I was trying to pay him, and he wouldn't take it. And he said, "Sal, we're just so happy to be playing again." And I said, "Boy, why can't we just do that?" It's not even so. I've sued Governor Cuomo or threatened to sue him 3 times already, because restaurants are allowed to have 25% capacity. and yet, you know, even if a restaurant has, let's say, on Long Island, restaurants allowed to have 50% capacity. So let's say your restaurant holds 250 people. That's 125 people legally. And legally, you have the right to turn those tables around every 60 to 90 minutes, unless you're having live music. So like that blew my mind. And that's when I said I got to get a lawyer involved. Because
well, I'm going to find you a lawyer. Listen, I'm going to find you a lawyer.
Musicians would gladly work for so much less money than
we have to close the show. You're awesome, Sal, and I want to see you and Olivia do a big show together.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. With Matt and then Robbie running the whole show together. We'll have me and Orestes will be sitting in the front with John and Steve. You know,
I want to karaoke with Olivia. I'm a karaoke specialist. Get out of here.
I'll sing a little samba. You get some of the Brazilian guys up from Doral.
Listen,
and
I'm going to sing Sherry.
There we go.
My eyes adored you, Ray.
My eyes adored you.
Musical talent right here, but
we're going to close with Olivia.
Yeah, Olivia's going to take us home. Thank you very much. God bless. Be safe, Sal.
We love
Matt,
you, Olivia.
Olivia.
Thank you.
Orestes and
Sal.
John.
Amen.
Orestes, I'll call you. Robbie, you're the
That's
man.
right, Sal. I love
New York,
baby.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's not simple to say. Most days I don't recognize me. These shoes, this apron, that